Hello and welcome to JKEV. I'm Joe, and today we're going to take a look at the all-new 2022 Tesla Model Y. So with the Tesla, something very important to take note of is these delivery dates. You want to can check online. You also sometimes can get lucky if you check your local local Tesla delivery center. You can sometimes catch a car that falls into inventory. That might be that somebody ordered a car, it made its way onto a truck to get to the destination, and then before it reached the final destination, the person canceled their order. That'll allow the car to fall into inventory and someone else is free to go pick it up. So we're out here, and it's a very warm 10 degrees in southern Wisconsin, and we're out here to drive this new Tesla. So let's get into some quick facts about the 2022 Tesla Model Y. It's available in two variants. There is no standard range rear-wheel drive anymore. There is the all-wheel drive long range, which is 330 miles of range and 4.8 seconds to 60, as well as the performance, which is 303 miles and 3.5 seconds to 60. These are EPA-rated numbers. It can be very difficult to achieve the Tesla numbers, as has been noted online before, but even with Tesla's numbers being inflated a little bit, they still have proven on range tests throughout. You can search on YouTube and find range tests of these Teslas. They are pretty much the longest range vehicles in the price market that they're in. So the biggest benefit of owning a Tesla is the Tesla Supercharger network. That is kind of worth its weight in gold, because there are more superchargers than any other vehicle charger in the country. And with the superchargers, you literally just walk up and plug in. It's that easy. It's a very good network, and you get 250 kilowatt peak speed charging on the Model Y and Model 3. In the case of the Model Y, that allows you to go from 10% to 80% in 30 minutes, and you can achieve 162 miles of range in just 15 minutes if you plug in at the optimum battery percentage. It is available with 19, 20, and 21-inch rims. These rims pictured here are the optional 20-inch rims. Those are $1,500 extra to upgrade to those. Personally, for me, I would just get the base rims. I think they look pretty good, and they increase your range a little bit. Getting these rims will take about 10 to 15 miles off of your rated range. One benefit of the Model Y is you can get a third row. So for $3,000, they will give you a third row. It's very snug, but if you need it in a pinch, it's there. And especially if you have small kids, you can definitely fit more people into the vehicle. Paint colors. White is the standard paint color. There are five colors in total. The other colors are $1,000, except red, which is $2,000. One controversial item that you can buy for the Tesla is full self-driving. That is $12,000. That'll give you features like navigating. The car will navigate itself around public city streets. That's coming soon. Autopilot on the highway will automatically change lanes for you. It's a pretty impressive system. I've gotten to drive it a couple times. My buddy's Model X I just drove not too long ago. I'll do a full in-depth review on his car soon, as well as the Navigate on Autopilot portion of that. I'll do a whole video on that alone. But it is a feature that really can make it a lot more relaxing on a road trip. One thing to note, though, is the Navigate on Autopilot does not stay with the car. So you pay $12,000 more for that, but when you go to sell the car, that feature doesn't transfer to the new owner. So that's kind of a downside, because it essentially means unless you're going to keep the car a very long time, it can be a lost cost. Pricing currently at the filming, which this is mid-February of 2022, is $59,000 for the Model Y long range and $64,000 for the performance model. A lot of people comment that they're upset with the way Tesla changes their pricing all the time. But the thing to look at, every car brand does this. Tesla just chooses to change the MSRP at all times. If you take a standard Chevrolet, say, let's talk about the Chevy Bolt, that might be $35,000 MSRP, but then on the website, every single month, they'll have, maybe it's $5,000 off this month, maybe it's $6,000 off next month. They're constantly changing the price too. They're just doing it through incentives rather than actually changing the MSRP of the vehicle. So the current delivery window of this vehicle is 2 to 6 months. It's 2 months for the performance and 6 months for the all-wheel drive long range that's pictured here. So now let's do a quick walk around and kind of take a look at what Tesla's doing with their styling right here. It is cold, and thank you to Christina for braving it out in this 10-degree weather in the cold. They can't hear you. You can say it again.
It's so cold.
So, in my opinion, one of the downsides of Tesla is their styling. Obviously, styling is, everyone has a different opinion. So, just this really flat front end catches everything. In the case here, it's covered in salt, and it's kind of a rock chip magnet. And I just wish they would have done a little something more with creating some sort of a front end grille. Outside of that, it is very recognizable, so you can't fault them for that. Anytime someone sees this front bumper coming, they know it's a Tesla coming up. Now we come over to the side. The side profile of the Tesla is really what lends itself to efficiency. Kind of the Toyota Prius was the first to kind of take advantage of this design, where you have this very sloping kind of back end for an SUV. Rather than it being boxy like the ID4 is or a lot of other SUVs, the sloping back end really helps get a little bit more out of efficiency. So if we come to that back end, we can pop the hatch and see that there actually is a pretty large area of room back here. Here's the charging cable that comes with the Tesla. This is the adapter that you can use to use public chargers that you'll constantly, frequently see at like your supermarket or whatever. And what's nice about Tesla is these plugs go in here. There's a ton of aftermarket on the Tesla website that you can get. So whatever high voltage outlet you have at home, Tesla most likely has a plug for you. Underneath here is where is an incredible amount of storage. I don't know how well the camera picks it up, but really deep storage well back here. So and also I like that this holds up, so I can pop it up here, get what I need out of there, and pull it down, sit it back into place. Another feature I like is I can pull these little triggers, and that folds the seats flat. Except our seats are too far forward, so it didn't work. But it is convenient to not have to walk around to the side to do that. Now let's take a quick walk around to the front and take a look at the frunk. So another useful storage well, there's like an aftermarket floor mat you can get here that's then easy to take out and clean. That's the tow hook down in there. But really, Tesla really takes advantage of storage quite well. That kind of maximizes the volume. A lot of people have an opinion that every electric car, if it doesn't have a frunk, it's not well designed. Well, the reason the Tesla has the frunk is the front end is so long. If you compare this to like the ID4 is a shorter front end. There's not really room for the frunk in that vehicle. So as long as if the front end is long enough to support a frunk and they put one there, then that's a win. But I don't think every vehicle needs one to be a successful vehicle. Now let's go inside real quick and take a look at some of the interior bits. To get into the Tesla, all you have to do, it looks complicated, but it's really simple. You just push your thumb and grab, and the door opens. Pretty simple, not too difficult. As you can see, there's autopilot cameras and sensor mode cameras all around the vehicle. And then the charge port is located on all Teslas. They are consistent. The charge port is always right here on the back. So one thing to note with Tesla is you have to push buttons to get out of the car. So at least now they start putting these little stickers on, which shows that you are leaving the car. That kind of helps people know where to press. So here's the screen that, of course, everything is based on with Tesla. Let me set my camera gear in the back. There we go. So yeah, here's the screen that everything is based through. Tons of menus of adjustability. Here's the controls. So for example, I set up the mirrors. You know, I use the steering wheel buttons to adjust the mirrors. Steering wheel moves up and down the same way. Very, very robotic. Pedals and steering. I have it set up in standard mode. I just really appreciate all the customization that the Tesla has. One thing to note, Tesla has a very strong regen. In most cars, the regenerative braking is based on a blend. It's a blend when you push the brake pedal. So you could have no regen turned on in the infotainment in those cars, like the ID4. And as I push the brake pedal, it will blend in regen before applying the friction brakes. Tesla does things differently. All of the regen is done through whatever setting you have it in, which I think now it just defaults. Yeah, it's not an option anymore. It's always defaults to full regen. And then when I push the brakes, they are like identical to what a normal gas car brake would be. Just a simple hydraulic brake, nothing complicated there. So that's kind of the method Tesla went, that you kind of, in order to get the most out of the vehicle, you have to use regen. But a lot of people are very happy with their Tesla, so I can't say that they did anything wrong there. Again, it's just something to keep in mind, that you can't program a Tesla to drive like a normal gas car would, per se. Tons of, like I said, just tons of adjustability in here. And it's just a very comfortable place to be. It's a very light and bright interior, a ton of space in here. As I go under here, there's a little bit more glove box storage down there. Here's the bioweapons defense mode. If I click that, it will it'll go into, use the HEPA filters to clean out the outside air. So if you're going through like a forest fire area, there's all the smoke in the air, it'll clean it out for you. And another feature Tesla's very famous for is having the dog mode and camp mode. Super thumbs up to those. I think every brand, it's all software, right? So every brand should try to put something like that in, because I'm going on a road trip here in a couple of months in the Volkswagen. I would love to be able to just set the climate control in camp mode, that I can sleep inside the vehicle and it just keeps the temperature consistent the whole night. Now let's do a quick test of the navigation. I'll show you what I mean by the route tripping. So if I go here, and let's just go to Denver. Pretty simple. Nope, that's Denver, Indiana. It should still do it for us though. Yep, so see, it's automatically programming in that we need to go to this Portage, Indiana supercharger. We'll arrive there with 3%, and then we'll arrive in Denver, Indiana with 16%. So just a really good navigation system that immediately puts those stops in for you. All right, so now we are off to the driving portion of the Model Y review. We have driven both Model 3s and Model Ys in the past. The one we're definitely looking forward to would be that new made in Texas Model Y with the new 4680 battery cells. Hopefully that's a bump in range and efficiency. Definitely should at least be lighter weight if it doesn't increase range at least. The initial thing you'll notice once you're in the Tesla is just the driving position. You have a very commanding view. Like, I can't even see the hood because it's such a downward sloping hood. So one initial thing I'm noticing is I don't remember the Model Y seats being as narrow, and maybe I'm just used to the Volkswagen seats being like super cozy and super flat. These have much more of a side bolster to them, so they kind of hug you a little more than our Volkswagen seats do.
I feel it for sure.
It's a positive and a negative. It's just it's more of a sport feeling.
It is.
They are very well cushioned, as I remember them being. And if you haven't sat in a Tesla, it's definitely like they make their own seats in-house, and that really takes it to the next level with the detail of making a comfortable seat, not just buying it from a third-party supplier. So for this drive, we're up in Wisconsin. Our plan is to drive down some kind of country roads that are a little bit, will have some bounce to them, and that'll help us get a feel for what the ride quality is. And then we'll go take it on the highway to give our review of how Autopilot compares to, we've driven the Ford Blue Cruise before, we've driven, obviously our ID4 has travel assist, so we'll kind of see how Autopilot compares to that. The throttle mapping on the car is pretty outstanding. I mean, as I push, it is a sudden jump of acceleration. It's pretty impressive. It's much more violent than the ID4. I mean, obviously the ID4 is 0 to 60 in 7 seconds. This is 0 to 60 in, I believe, 4.8 for this. This is the long range model. So this has about 300, as we said earlier, 330 miles of range. So this is really, in my opinion, the best model to get if you're looking at a Tesla. The performance, it's great, but everything I've heard about it is it's really exciting for the first month or two, and then you kind of, after you've won every single stoplight race, you're kind of just done with it. One thing that can't demonstrate is the stereo. Obviously, we don't want copyright issues, but that's one of the things that actually, still to this day, I think is the best stereo I've ever heard in a car, is the Model Y, Model 3 premium stereo that you get in the long-range vehicles. It's just really good. And I think a big piece of it too is the streaming audio that they have. It's a high-quality stream, so you really get a richer sound out of the system than just what satellite radio or something would be. So you see when I put in the turn signal, it actually, if I hold the turn signal, it actually shows the, uses the side mirror to kind of show you what's over there. Huge fan of that. Hyundai and Kia are famous for putting that in their cars. Big win for Tesla to put that in one of these recent software updates. It just increases safety, and that's really kind of the best thing that any car can do. Really, safety should be a standard feature. It amazes me that, let's do a quick acceleration.
Whee!
It amazes me that companies still think safety should be optional. Almost every brand out there, it's like blind spot monitor. Maybe forward collision is standard, but blind spot monitoring is an option. That really should be built into the base price. And I know it'll raise the base price, but at the end of the day, safety should not be an option. This is the black interior. We are much more fans of the white interior. If you're scared of it, feel free to do some research on YouTube or whatever, or wherever you get your information from. There's plenty of videos to show how resilient the white seats actually are, and it works wonders with just getting more daylight into the vehicle. So you have this beautiful glass roof above you, it lets the light in, and the white interior helps it kind of pop, keeps it light and bright. One thing I will say is many people complain about that there's no instrument cluster in front of me. I've driven a couple Teslas now, and I've driven the Model X that has the instrument cluster, and obviously a couple of 3s and Ys over time. The speed is right here. I mean, you get used to it so quickly. I don't ever have to even think, oh no, I can't, I wish the speed was in front of me. Quite frankly, this way it lets me have the wheel wherever I want. I don't have to worry about the wheel blocking some of my view. I would appreciate a heads-up display, kind of like what the Mini Cooper SE has or the new Hyundais have, but really, I mean, the information is all right there, really simple to see on the screen. So like, for example, right here, it shows, it shows the speed we're going right here. Here's the speed limit. It says the max that's set if I was to turn on Autopilot, because I have Autopilot set to do 7 miles per hour over speed limit. So it's pretty self-intuitive in my opinion. And that's really what Tesla does the best, right? People complain about build quality or things like that. It really comes down to what kind of person are you. First, we have a roundabout here that we'll go take advantage of. On throttle.
Feel that kick, baby.
Also, the heated steering wheel is on, and my hands are roasting warm. This is
roasty.
It's a pretty good heated steering wheel too. Grab up here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That is hot. Hot tamales.
That's going in. One thing is this. I have to double check what rims this is. I think this has. I think this has the upgraded rims, the 20-inch rims, and that certainly does not help ride comfort. This is just a pretty standard road. It's a pretty standard country road. It's got a little bit of pavement imperfections, but it's not terrible by any means. And we are just sitting here bouncing the whole way along the road.
Yeah, I feel that.
Right. So I mean, the benefit of that is if you live in the mountains or something and you have country roads that you can you want to shred up, this suspension is going to stay planted, but it doesn't need to be this stiff for a daily driver car. Maybe the performance, but for the long range, I wish they would have made it just a little more comfortable. Or if they ever do put in the air ride suspension,
Bronco.
That would be a really nicely, that would be a very appreciated option. What is your thoughts of the, putting everything into the screen? So like if we want to adjust climate, we got to push this right here, and so I can like move my vents up and down or whatever. Having that as opposed to just standard vents, and they kind of bury everything into menus. What's your opinion of that?
So I feel like it's smart, but at the same time it can be a little cautious because you are driving and you have to go into the menus. So it's a hit and miss in my opinion. But I do like how everything's organized, and you can just like, if you do want to click on the climate, like everything is right there along with the vents, which is really cool. Like you could literally just use 2 fingers and adjust your vents, which no other car really does that I know of.
Porsche does it, and I think a couple other brands are starting to introduce it. For me, I don't mind it because once I adjust my vents, for me, I don't think I ever touch them. So,
Yeah.
so the nice thing is, this car will link up to both of our phones,
Yeah.
so then it knows, what driver profile you're in. So when you get in the car as the driver, it will, and click yourself to be the driver, it'll move the vents where you like them. Likewise for me, it would do the same. So I think it's kind of more of, there's a ton of menus here, but a lot of them are kind of, once you set them up, they're good to go, and you don't really have much changing.
Right.
And there's a voice command function. Granted, it's like most voice command functions, it's not the best, but it's still...
Woo! Oh my gosh.
There is a voice command function, and just like most vehicles, the voice command function is not the best, but it gets the job done in most cases. I mean, one nice thing is the app is so good in this car that, for example, if you want to get directions somewhere, you can go in the app and punch in the directions that you want and send it to the car. So when you get in, it's just ready to go. And the kind of the bigger part with that is the trip planning. So I'll document here pretty soon. We'll put in a navigation like Denver, and you'll see it instantly pop up with all of the charging stops that we would need to do along the way, which is just best in industry right now. And the other reason that we are considering getting a Tesla is, even though we have the Volkswagen, is there certain routes that we cannot achieve with the Volkswagen without going crazy out of the way. Last summer, we took a road trip up to Glacier National Park. We had to go all the way down to Grand Junction, Colorado, coming from Chicago, to then go all the way back north. Added, I don't know, probably 1,000 miles or something like that to our trip. Whereas with the Tesla, we could have just gone the northern route, straight through Montana, or straight through North Dakota or South Dakota, and cut across Wyoming or Montana, and we would have been there. So it's just kind of, Tesla has the charging thing figured out really well. Build quality, can certainly affect your purchase decision, but really, in my opinion, the technology is what should drive whether or not a Tesla is right for you. If you want best in business tech, there's not going to be another car brand that really meets that. For us, for the Volkswagen, we just wanted a nice, comfortable daily driver, and the Volkswagen does that for us. But if you want a lot of these, I know some of them are gimmicky, all the apps and stuff like that, but if you want, just something that, with charging, you plug it in, it just works. You don't have to fiddle with an app or anything. If you want navigation, you punch in a destination, it just works. The Tesla's really going to be the best car for you. So right here, really quickly, I'll just demonstrate how the Autopilot works. So I'm here cruising at like 65 miles an hour. I just double click down on this. Autopilot engages. So all I have to do is just keep a light amount of tension on the wheel, but the car is steering itself. So it does a great job. It actually sped up too, since it automatically has it set that that's the speed I want to do, and Autopilot is 7 above the speed limit. So really, really cool features. And then here, I can also go put in a lane change, and it would change lanes for me, but we're exiting here, so we're not going to do that. I think we'll take the Model 3 on a little bit longer highway loop, and try to demonstrate more of the Navigate on Autopilot features, since our time is just so limited with both of these cars today. We only have about a half hour with each, so we're just trying to get everything we can to film with them. So the best part of the Tesla network is just the superchargers. I literally come over here, push this button, it opens up, I plug it in, and we're charging. Let's go ahead and see what kind of speeds we're getting initially, just plugging it in right away. So charging data is right here. I don't know why Tesla made this smaller. It used to be real big on the screen, but it's just getting 40 kilowatts right now. It's cold. The battery's at a decent state of charge already. You can touch the miles to change it to percentage. Super convenient feature. So I prefer percentage, but everyone has their own opinion on that. But right now it shows we're charging at approximately 160 miles an hour, 39 kilowatts. And if we charge for 20 minutes, we'll get to the predetermined state that about 90% it looks like it's set at right here. But our time's running out on this drive, so I think we should pretty much wrap it up there. And I think that's pretty much a wrap for the 2022 Tesla Model Y. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. We're also going to have a Model 3 review coming up very shortly. But until next time, take care.